ahead of elections, SABC News visited the south of Johannesburg to the community in Robertsham who struggled with service delivery for most of 2023, with their taps running dry for months on end. Protests and meetings with officials yielded very little results. Now this year, similar issues. 4 days post the elections, they're back to square one. For more, we cross now to our reporter Hasina Gori. Hasina, of course, going back there after the elections, I would imagine just to get a sense of, what communities feel the elections went in terms of this announcement that was made by the IEC, of course, declaring those elections, and the ANC for the first time in the history of elections coming in under 50% and sitting at 40%.
Good afternoon, and yes, as you mentioned, we're back in this community here in the south of Johannesburg. We visited it ahead of elections. It was one of our election focus areas, specifically looking at the water infrastructure and service delivery within the Gauteng region. According to reports that we've read and we've seen, that there's been not one day of this year that there's not been a water outage within some part of the province. It's become a major issue. We've spoken with Rand Water over time. There's been issues of aging infrastructure, as well as just maintenance being done to these pipelines, but also the electricity and energy issues burdening the water issues as well. This morning, I got reports and calls from community members, and also the ward councillors who we have been engaging with over the time to get a sense of the picture of water issues in the area. If I remember correctly, this was last year as well. We saw protests flare up due to the water issues. I want to bring in Rashida Landis. Thank you so much, ward councillor here. Let's start with where we are today. We just post-elections. When we spoke, water issues still perennial here, post-elections now. What happened in the last few weeks?
Good afternoon, listeners, viewers. Thursday, just 3 days, 1 day after elections, there was no water in my area, especially the Robertsham area. We are standing right here behind me is the towers, the infamous towers. And yes, I asked, I beg for communication. No one can give me a direct answer. And then we are at the coalface of this residents in this areas, especially Robertsham. As we speak, my residents don't have water, but nobody can answer me. I wish the mayor and the city manager can come out with the truth, and rainwater for that matter, because I cannot see that we don't have water here and there's no reason for it. If you close a reservoir, you close a tower. Why are you closing it? Why is my residents being throttled? Because they are paying the rates and taxes. They're paying their water accounts. They're paying the electricity accounts. Now, why are we suffering in this area? If somebody can come out and tell me, Councillor Randers or Rashida, we don't want to give you water, I can understand. But if you're just quiet about it, no one pick up their phones, especially over a weekend. There is no communication whatsoever. They send out a communication, the commando system. The commando system don't supply us. So what next? So what do I tell my residents? Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, please come forth and tell us what to tell our residents. Thank you.
We've seen the results come out yesterday for the national as well as for Gauteng, both of them where the ANC has not made a majority and where coalitions would have to be formed. We're here in an area, in a province that has been a coalition run over the last few years. As someone working within this government structures in the regional spaces, how do you feel coalitions have benefited or have been a detriment to the citizens and residents of Gauteng?
Coalitions did not work here in Johannesburg, especially the GLUE coalition at this present moment in time, because the mayor is a one-man show. He's from Altamar. Then you get the city manager on the other side. Then you get the premier of Gauteng, Mr. Lesufi, that is managing our mayor. And that is not going to work. It's never going to work. Our residents had the cold shoulder from the COJ right now because we don't get whatever we ask, we don't get it. We have to beg, we have to scream, we have to shout. Why must we do that? Because we are rate-paying customers here. We don't have to fight. Services must come to the community. And I beg the mayor and the city manager to come out and do that. Please don't say committees must be established. People will go out and find out where's the solutions. 1 year later, there's no solution. There's a committee but no solution. What do we tell our residents? Coalition didn't work for us, especially this glue.
As you hear, just some of the frustration from the specific community. We were here about 3 weeks ago as well, spoke with community members, similar sentiments. We also spoke with a community group that set up engagements with the mayor, with the City of Johannesburg officials. As you heard, the committee is being set up, but 1 year later, still issues of water not being in the taps. I want to bring in another ward councillor, Ward 54. Stuart, how's been this, the water concerns on your area within this space?
Well, my area, must be honest with you, it comes and goes. It's not, I don't have an everlasting effect where it's out for very long times. My water, these people across the road are the first who let me know that the water is low, the pressure, and then they don't have water. But normally, if I say by the morning, I wake up frantically looking and then I see I've got water. So then, I'm fairly safe. But I must be honest with you, it is not nice because there is no communication. If you're not got your ears on the ground, and I picked up somewhere that the Aikenhof sump station has been hit by some, let's just say, outage, I preempted that we could have a problem. I try to warn my guys to say, guys, it is going to bite us. I always say, if we're an hour down in Aikenhof, we could be a day down in the side of the neck of the woods. And I must be honest with you, I'm struggling to understand why we don't get communication. We phoned everybody and nobody comes to us. So it's terrible.
There's a committee that was set up last year when the mayor, as well as some of his city managers, did come through to this area to speak with the community. There was protests that happened as well. Has that brought any solutions at all?
No, I think it's just politicking. It's a sideshow. They speak about this. Never have we been called. Never have we been told what the solutions are. Never have we been said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give you more capacity, or we're going to put in new pipes. It might take 5 years, but there's nothing being told to us. So what do we say to the community? I'm fortunate. My community seems to be okay at times, but when the chips are really down, then we also suffer. Because I run right into Boydson's Reserve.
And let's talk coalition governance. You're part of that structure right now within Gauteng and within the Johannesburg. How do you think it's fared? How would you score that coalition? And do you think it is something that is beneficial to South Africans?
Are you talking about the current one that's just happened? Let's see what we put together. I think if we can, we're very close, and we'll see how that can be. If we can put a government together in our pact, it could really benefit us. We could maybe get more funding. The funding could be spent better. We could maybe even be using the money more productively, and that's what I'm hoping for. Give us more powers, not just but also if we don't just want to spend the money in our areas, but we want to spend it wisely across the whole of Gauteng.
Thank you so much. That was ward councillors that we're speaking to here outside the Crown Garden Towers, where water issues remain a perennial issue for this community. We're going to try speaking to more community members to find out how they're faring. It's just past, the election dates, and for them, their issues still top of the list.